I supported Arlen Specter, number one, because Arlen Specter was a senator who was going to be the chairman of the Judiciary Committee at a time when the most important issue that was coming up in the next session of Congress was 2 to 3 Supreme Court nominees.
There was never any discussion at all between Senator Santorum and me about support. It was just assumed that he would support me like I had supported him when he had a very tough election back in 1994.
Oh, back from retirement, Arlen Specter, the gift that keeps on giving. You're listening to the Laura Ingraham Show, 800-876-4123. One poll shows him down 4 points or so. Another poll shows him up 4 points in Michigan. Things are shifting quickly, but joining us now, former senator from the great state of Pennsylvania, Rick Santorum. Senator Santorum, great to talk to you again. How are you, sir? Thank you very much, Laura. And I would just say in response to that, Roberts and Alito. You look at Arlen Specter and what he did to fight and claw, particularly for Alito and everything that was brought up. He knocked it down. He carried the water and carried it, I might add, brilliantly, and stood up and did exactly what he said he would do as chairman of the committee, as long as he was, quote, consulted. Stand up and fight for, as chairman of the committee, for the president. But Senator, he's basically saying that he had no conversation with you about this.
Well, that's just not true. I mean,
so you did talk to him. Well, but you did talk to him about saying, I'll do this for you, I'll support you, despite Toomey being out there and a lot of conservatives like him, because you're going to do the right thing on these things. You actually had that conversation?
We actually had that conversation toward the end of his campaign when he asked me to go out and do some and do an ad to help him. I said, Arlen, I need assurances that when if you win this election, that you're going to stand up and fight as chairman of the committee. That is an absolute. To me, the thing I have to have assurances on it before I get out there and say anything publicly on television or radio about you. And he said, as long as I'm consulted, that's chairman of the Judiciary. That's my responsibility as chairman of the committee, and I'll do that. That's what he said. I mean, and look, I mean, the proof is in the pudding, Laura. I mean, Arlen Specter's been no great defender of conservatives, but if you look at Roberts and Alito, he was frankly magnificent.
He was good in all that. That's the one thing I certainly agree with you. I mean, he was, for the most part, terrific on judges, and judges are critical and, frankly, haven't been discussed enough in this election. He was asked today, Senator, about whether he'd support you today. Let's just hear what he has to say about supporting you today, your friend.
Would you be supporting him if today in this primary if you were still a Republican?
No, I would not. Where you have Senator Santorum's views so far to the right, his attitude on women in the workplace and gays and bestiality comments and birth control, I do not think it is realistic for Rick Santorum to represent America.
Your reaction?
Well, I mean, it's funny. I mean, Arlen Specter says, I'm too far to the right, and Mitt Romney, who appointed 36 Democrats, including horrible liberal activist judges in the state of Massachusetts, and he's criticizing me for not being conservative enough as we got Justice Roberts and Alito on the Supreme Court because of the work we did. So I'm happy that Arlen Specter, who is opposing me, I think that shows you how strong and conviction a conservative I am, and how we've been able to go out there and effectively fight for the conservative cause and have victories for the conservative cause. I think one of the most telling questions you saw in the debate was Mitt Romney was asked what victory has he ever claimed for the conservative cause, and he couldn't answer it. Because he doesn't have any. I mean, I have a long laundry list of things that we've done in national security for the state of Israel, a long list of things that I've done on reforming entitlement programs like welfare. There are a legion of conservative accomplishments which I advocated, and all that Governor Romney has is a legion of liberal things that he is trying to walk away from and say that he had nothing to do with. And we've now found out that he actually pointedly lied on a couple of these issues at the debate in trying to make the case against me.
Jeb Bush came out and gave an interview to Fox News, and he said, I used to be conservative, And I watch these debates and I'm wondering, I don't think I've changed, but it's a little troubling sometimes when people are appealing to people's fears and emotion rather than trying to get them to look on the horizon for a broader perspective. And that's kind of where we are, saying that you all are too negative, appealing to people's fears. Jeb Bush.
I think there's a legitimate reason to be concerned about the future of this country when the government has reached the point with taking over the healthcare system and the financial services sector and involving itself in micromanaging every aspect of people's lives. And I think there's legitimate reason for people to be concerned. But if you look at my campaign and what I've talked about, I've been the optimistic, positive candidate about what we're going to do to get this country going again, and believing in free markets, free people, faith and family as the foundational pillars of our society, and having an optimistic view that we, in fact, if we believe in the right thing, not government, but the American people, and believe in the free enterprise system, believe in a free economy, that this country, without question, can compete. That's why I put together an economic plan that says we can get our jobs back here. That's not negative. That's optimistic. That says we can compete. We can get the jobs that are going to be letting people rise in society. We can help rebuild that nuclear family, which is so important for a stable community.
Do those comments
very positive?
Your points on the family, I thought were fantastic at the debate. I thought when Mitt Romney came along and agreed with you, I thought that was your moment. I really do. I mean, I probably wouldn't have phrased things, take it for the team, but look, we say things all the time in the crush of these events
not my best phraseology.
Yeah, but look, sure. I get what you're saying there.
At least I'm on the right team. I'm not. I mean, if you look at Governor Romney, the team he was on is the team on the other side. I mean, Obamacare, bailouts, putting his own form of constrictions, conscience clause restrictions on the Catholic Church. I mean, he's been on the wrong team. At least I'm on the team consistently of conservatives and trying to do what's right for our country, which will help those rise in society.
How do you build the bridge, and we have a short period of time, a minute or so, to the more moderate wing of the Republican Party? The people, there's some folks over at National Review are saying some of your comments have been indefensible. The people like Peggy Noonan and others. How do you make sure that they're giving you a serious look? A lot of them are lining up behind Romney, not her necessarily, but you have the social conservatives, you have the Tea Party folks, I think, paying attention. But what about those other people? How do you do it?
Well, it's what I've done in the past, which is, I've stood up and I've said what I believe in. They've taken a lot of comments I've made in the past to different audiences and said, well, this is what Rick Santorum believes. But of course, what I believe in my own personal faith is one issue. If you look at my record, is whether I'm going to impose every religious tenet and teaching of the church is outrageous and is offensive. And it's not, and it's a double standard that is being imposed on people of faith that would never be imposed on somebody else of non-faith. What I've said is that we've got a strong record of being a conservative who can get things done and who can appeal to voters because you tell the truth. You are authentic. You're not scripted. You're someone who's out there telling people exactly what you believe, and you can trust me. And I think a lot of moderate independent voters are going to look at someone who stands up and is on 20 sides of different issues and say, can we trust him when we vote for him that he's actually going to do what he says he's going to do, or we can trust someone who has the character to stand up and fight for what they believe in. And I think character in this issue, in this campaign, is going to count a lot.
Do you think Paul and Romney are working together implicitly or explicitly?
You explain to me why Ron Paul's running ads in Michigan. He hasn't even appeared on a campaign event in Michigan. And he's running ads in Michigan, and he's attacking me. Why does that make? I mean, you figure that one out for me, and you probably are a better political expert than I am. And this is he hasn't attacked him once in a debate. Look, I'll take on all comers, and I'll take them on in pairs if necessary.
Rick Santorum, man, you have fun out there. This is a roller coaster ride, and keep your good cheer, and we wish you the best out there. All of you deserve credit for running in this difficult environment. Other people are on the sidelines criticizing. That's the easy thing to do. Rick Santorum, thank you so much.